Hello, welcome to Calm Parenting Approach. My name is Daniel and I'm looking forward to sharing with you today a few things about the channel and a few things about Calm Parenting Approach. Today's session is going to talk more around smartphones, about children and young people and smartphones, and I picked up an article that I'm going to discuss with you and just go through it. I want to get your views, I want to share my views, and then also with that I'm also going to put a solution in relation to dealing with smartphones and children and young people, and basically how does that link in with parenting. So the whole point of this is to share, communicate with each other, get your views, share my views, but also explore a different way of thinking and from each other. So before I get started, I would like to encourage you to click on the like button, to subscribe, because that's the only way this channel is going to grow and we'll be able to learn and share with each other on this journey. So let me go straight into it. I'll start with the article. So it's about smartphones. I'm going to read some of it out to you while we go through it. So it says UK parents join pact to withhold smartphones from children under 14. When I saw this I thought, okay, alright, what's this all about? Alright, so this is by Dan Milmo, Global Technology Editor for The Guardian. So it says, an online pledge to withhold smartphones from children until they are at least 14 has been signed by parents at 20% of schools across the UK, according to a campaign group. A parent pack organised by Smartphone Free Childhood has been signed by at least one parent at 6,537 schools, with the signatures representing just under 35,000 children. There are 32,000 schools across the UK, including nurseries and pupil referral units. So the pact states that, acting in the best interest of my child and our community, I will wait until at least the end of year 9 before getting them a smartphone, according to one of the parents. And he goes on. So looking at this article, it is more, I would say perhaps more focused on the disadvantages of smartphones for children and young people, and perhaps doesn't focus on the advantages, more on the disadvantages. So for me, just looking at that, I'm thinking, alright, there are a few things here. It's about, getting away that distraction, that background noise. So for me, when I think of smartphones and young people and children, it's a technology that's brilliant. That's got to be celebrated and explored with children, parents and children, within a safe space. And for that to take place, that means parents need to be on board, they need to be aware of the technology, they need to be aware of how their children are using that technology, and they also need to be, basically they need to be switched on as parents. And so having that sorts out one solution. But the second part is, if you ban smartphones from children and young people, then some of the points stated in this article, which I'll encourage you to read, is children will then have a situation where they don't have the latest smartphone, but they've got a brick phone, for example, as one of the parents said. So let's all have brick phones, and when I'm saying brick phones, obviously phones that just do calls and receive calls, but not a smartphone technology on that. So that option is what some of the parents are suggesting, and that's a fair point, because the technology we're talking about is incredible with smartphones in terms of tracking, in terms of actually young people being exposed to things that are not safe in different ways, in terms of pornographic images, in terms of logistic, I can't even say the word now, in terms of sexes and different aspects of things that are online. And because things are not fact checked, basically they're not regulated. So any Tom, Dick and Harry can go online and literally present any information and class that as, and unfortunately, because there's no fact checking, automatically that's the right, that's the law, that's the rule, that's the right, because it's online, it must be true. So for me, it's about making sure your children and young people are aware of that, in terms of it's a chance as a parent to be able to make sure they're aware of, actually, let's unpick this. Why is this, some of this information, do you think it's true, or do you think it's not true? So having that conversation, having that interaction, I feel it's very important, because then that way you're parenting, but then also your child, you're unpicking information with your child, so you're going through that journey together. So straight away, there's not a situation where they go to school and sometimes somebody else will have that smartphone, even if that rule is in place, phones are banned, they don't have access, but somebody else will have access. So automatically they are being taught by somebody else, they're being parented by somebody else, because somebody else is sharing information that they can't get access to. So it's about parenting with your children and having that joint side by side, in sort of, this is what's out there, this is some of the information that you need to be aware of. So then if they do have that technology, you don't need to worry about that, because you're monitoring it and you're sharing that with them within a safe space. And if there's something that they're worried about, they're not sure about, they will come back and talk to you about it, because you've created that relationship where you're sharing things back and forth with them. So yeah, so for me, it's about that regulation. The internet is not regulated, so automatically it's, for me, that the article is barking on the wrong track, because let's focus on regulating the internet, let's focus on governments and putting things in place, for example, safe spaces for children to play. Places are being closed down all the time, so places for children to play, places for them to go, activities to get involved in, that's more important in terms of trying to ban technology that's out there. But actually, let's create something, let's create that social activities for young people to be able to engage in. So for me, I feel it's literally barking up the wrong track, if I could state, in terms of, it's a good point, yes, to have that, but also it's about, actually, let's look at what's going on around. Let's think of the future of the children, their future, in terms of, that's their worry. They're worried about what's coming, what's coming in the future. So focusing on banning the smartphone, actually, let's try and embrace the technology. Let's get things out in the open. These are all the negatives, and these are all the positives. Have that conversation, have that space, do that in your children's school. Maybe that's already taking place, but it's about having that discussion, having that space. So what I would like from you is that participation. So if I can get your views, your experiences with your children or young people, or your views in terms of smartphones, and in terms of, why do you agree that it should be banned, or do you think banned for under 14s, or do you think, actually, no, this can work, children should have that technology and they should be able to benefit and learn from it. So this is a conversation that you could go on. We could talk about the different advantages in terms of tracking your kids and monitoring where they are, and also monitoring the interactions they have with their friends, and some of the disadvantages in terms of, say, cyberbullying, in terms of harassment, in terms of, you got things with the aspects that whatever's coming their way negatively can be captured, can be evidenced. So on one hand, as a parent, you can actually realise, okay, this is some of the challenges they're facing because it's been captured and recorded. Someone's putting something online and you can see that, so you can actually do something about it, rather than when I was growing up, that wasn't there. You had to, say somebody said this, somebody said that about you, but actually now the technology is actually capturing that evidence, which I feel as parents and grown-ups, we can actually work on that, challenge that, establish the views of that child who's expressing what they're expressing, and try to put some understanding to it so your child understands where that's coming from and why that's happening. So your views, advantages, disadvantages, where you stand on this, just let me know. Write in the comments at the bottom. Like I said, like, subscribe, and we can grow the channel. But then also, while we're doing that, I want to also look at aspects of a solution in terms of calm parenting approach, in terms of some of the programs that we deliver. Some of those programs are quite, that will bring, for example, if you have in terms of around smartphones, or in terms of parenting around smartphones, it's about, for example, we focus on things around the network of support around that child, and obviously some of the things in terms of when you're parenting, a lot of families, the family structures have changed in terms of most people don't have families local to them, they parent by themselves, they haven't got a network of support, and it's about accessing and finding and establishing those support that you have. And obviously in my role and in the work that I do, I can help you with that in terms of, okay, let's establish what contacts you have, let's try and work out that support, that network of support, those other eyes on your child, those other people that people in your family and friends that they think the world of, that are important to them. Those are how can you include them in your life in a way that involves them being part of the network of support for your child. So these are also things you tap into in terms of some of the programs. Actually, I'm referring to NVR, non-violence resistance, but obviously more NVR approach. This is more tailored to you. So some of that would be something that I can discuss with you if you want that, and obviously have a look on the website, have a look at the bottom on the website, you can see some of the programs we offer around that, and yeah, so just I look forward to your views. I look forward to seeing your thought, gathering your thoughts and see what you think.